see what he loves about you. You're so perfect. Hope you know that you got everything. I mess up and I'm haunted. And if I'm being honest, I see what he loves about you. You're so perfect. Hope you know that you got everything. I mess up and I'm haunted. And if I'm being honest, I mess up and I'm haunted. Jealous. I'm I see what he loves about you. You're so perfect. Hope you know that you got everything. I mess up and I'm haunted. And if I'm being honest, I try to make it all stop. Say I'm okay, but I'm not. No, I can't help it. I'm so jealous of you taking that place in his heart. It should be me, but it's not. Wish I could get less, but I'm so jealous. I see what he loves about you. You're so perfect. Hope you know that you got everything. I mess up and I'm haunted. Jealous. I'm
I never see the lights out. They got me overdrive. Fancy on a fast car. This is how you make me feel. Don't stress me now. I got the overdose. I'm feeling it in my bones. And if you say that I'm lying to you, these habits are killing me. I wish I could fall asleep. The problem is you. I got the overdose. Oh, yeah.
Every day I miss you in the most ordinary ways. I always stop and wonder what would have happened if I stayed. 'Cause without you, it's like the ocean, I'm drowning in every single wave. Yeah, without you, I've got no focus, I'm fighting to just get through the day. And I keep falling, 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 and deeper in every single way. Yeah, I keep falling, 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 but without you, there's no escape. Yeah, without you. And all this time without you, baby, I'm living in the past. 'Cause without you, it's like the ocean, I'm drowning in every single wave. Yeah, without you, I've got no focus, I'm fighting to just get through the day. And I keep falling, 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 and deeper in every single way. Yeah, I keep falling, 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 and without you, there's no escape. Yeah, without you, I keep falling, 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 and deeper in every single way. Yeah, I keep falling, 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 and without you, there's no escape. Yeah, without you.
Waiting for your storm to settle as I look toward the sea. Lost in your eyes like the water, as the tide it consumes me. You would never save me if my walls came down. Head is underwater, you would let me drown. Watching as I suffocate. Darling, pull the trigger, honey, steal my crown. Choke me till I black out, put your hands around. Cut out my heart, I'm guilty. Worship me, worship me. I control the air you breathe. Worship me, worship me. My forgiveness sets you free. Worship me, worship me. I control the air you breathe. Worship me, worship me. My forgiveness sets you free. cast your sins away to him. Oh, a garden safe from murder. Fill the forest with your kin. You would never save me if my walls came down. Head is underwater, you would let me drown. Watching as I suffocate. Darling, pull the trigger, honey, steal my crown. Choke me till I black out, put your hands around. Cut out my heart, I'm guilty. She said, worship me, I control the air you breathe. Worship me, my forgiveness sets you free. Worship me, I control the air you breathe. Worship me, my forgiveness sets you free.
There's my home, there's my world. See, it's the flower, mine is lost. Beyond space, beyond time, give me fire, clear my mind. Tale of love, so divine. You are human, just like now. I can see it in the dark. Take my hand and bring me back.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. No. You guys should know the deal by now. I mean, at least you, right? 3. We're live. As some of you may have noticed, it's not my normal location. Decided to stream from inside the RUM ship moving forward, so I'm just hanging out in the space. We'll make it big so you guys can take a look. Pretty cool. Yeah, on the ship on the wall. I'm hanging out. Just chilling. So, do we have any show and tell this week? That's the question I have. Actually, we'll first start out by saying episode 51 of the talk show. We skipped the talk show last week. We ended up playing Once Human. We'll be talking about that a little bit throughout this. Actually, maybe more than just a little bit this episode. But we're doing a State of Gaming update this week. So we're going to talk about, recent gaming news, recent releases, recent announcements, things of that nature that should be really exciting. And my camera, for some reason, is making me look really yellow. I'm going to fix that. Yeah, I got scurvy. Let's see if we can fix this here. Yeah. It's a damn shame. Whoa, shit. Let's bring the brightness down a little bit. Yeah. Making it worse. Yeah, I need to fix this. Okay, let's fix this here. We're getting there. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Hold on. Let me cook. Let me see. Maybe it's not. Oh, or maybe you're not. What is going on here? Let's try this. How about now? How about now? Is that better? Say something, goat. That's not something.
That was just terrible timing, sir.
Come on, man. Get it together, dude.
My mic sounds nice. Check 1.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I'm late eating my dinner. I made poor choices. Decided to take a nap before I went to go pick up Grace and then come home and try and frantically eat.
Color's a little bit better. I don't know, man.
There's just a
Looking,
lot of adjustments. You look ghosty.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it. Man. I don't...
Maybe it's your hat too white up there. I don't know. Try turning your hat around.
Try turning my head around. No.
Try setting it to Wumbo.
There. Okay. Hey, there we go. Got it. I think that's good. I think that's good. A little bit of static on the microphone, but yeah, whatever. Whatever. That's better. Oh, maybe I could do this. Maybe this will help me see. Let me change the coloring of my light.
Yeah, that might help too. That's like me. If I turn my light up to 100%, I look like I'm glowing over here.
There we go. I think that's better.
That's why I was trying to turn mine down to like 75, 50%.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe 2 of them. These ring lights is too much. Let me turn it down to maybe 1.
We're not trying to land a plane over here, Dragon. Just...
Ah, there we go. That's a little bit better. All right. Okay, cool. We fixed it. Hey, you know what? Listen, we always have to spend. You know this. You know, people who have been here. No, we have to spend the first 5 minutes of the stream troubleshooting.
That's the problem.
Just...
You're staring into fucking headlights over there. Jesus.
Oh,
it's like a night and day difference just turning one of those off.
Yeah.
I can see your hat better, everything better.
Yeah. Listen. Just took a little tweaking. That's all. We got it. We're good. We're chilling. Anyway, do you have any show and tell this week?
We already talked about it.
I'm just going to wait until you take a bite to ask all of my questions.
Mm-hmm. Talked about the shelf behind me. I said I couldn't remember if that was there in my last talk show.
No, I didn't. I was going to mention that. The room looks good. Like, I like that shelf. It's a good spot for it.
If I turn this way, there we go. A little bit of a mess on the workbench there, but yeah. Packed up the resin printer in the closet. Bought that new shelf for storage, so it's got all the totes and storage boxes of our prints up there.
Oh, yeah.
So no new prints, but got a new shelf. So
Love
there's that. So much more room for activities.
You like kung fu?
Did we just become best friends?
Favorite non-pornographic magazine to masturbate to?
Wasn't it the Red Book?
No, it was Good Housekeeping.
Mm.
Yeah.
What is the Red? Is it a thing? I don't know what Red Book is.
No, I don't. Oh no, never heard of it. I have some tell. I don't necessarily have any show, but I have some tell. I was doing some research for particular reasons, and I came across a resource for veterans that I did not know existed. And I figured, if I didn't know, maybe I should share it. If you're a veteran and you don't know, at least in the state of Texas, I don't know for sure if it's like this for every state, but in the state of Texas, if you don't know, in your county, there's an individual who has the title of VSO. It's called a Veteran Service Officer. This person's sole job is to answer questions for veterans. You can contact them and they will help you find legal advice. They will help you find a job. They will help you find discounts. They'll help you find anything. They'll help you with a home loan. They'll help you with any information you could possibly think of regarding your benefits as a veteran. And I thought that was really cool. I didn't know that something like that existed. So they break it down where each person has a county. So, your county's VSO. So, I have one for Harris County. Somebody in another county will have a different person. But I thought that was really interesting.
I've heard of the acronym VSO, but I didn't know how diverse it was or anything like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
I know we don't really talk about our links on the website very often, but speaking of things like VSO, we also have other links on our website for veterans, which I feel like we're missing some. I thought we had the wasn't there one like free games for veterans or something? But
there's like vet ticks, where you can get tickets to certain events.
Shows.
There's games for grunts.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
which
but it's not on our site anymore.
No, yeah, it is.
Not under the veterans thing. Oh, it's up there, like
yep, it's up there,
being like highlighted for some reason.
But yeah, I wanted to point that out. And matter of fact, the link I actually have. If you are in Texas and you want to know who your VSO is for your county, you can go to texvet.org/CVSO. And it gives you a list of every county. It gives you the name of the VSO, their phone number, and their email address, so you can get in contact with them. So check that out if you're a veteran and you need some assistance with something, have questions, anything like that. They can help you with VA benefits. Yeah. There you go.
So,
E-benefits.
well, the link I gave you, that's for all VSOs, not just Texas. You can log into your e-benefits page and figure out who your representative is.
So there you go. But that's my tell for the show and tell portion of the show.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to tell other than, really nothing. Other than just been working, playing games, preparing for the board game convention in Minneapolis, coming in like soon.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now. And then QuakeCon like 3.5 weeks from now.
Yep. I reached out to our friends over at Regiment to see if they had any promo codes like the last time. They haven't got back with me yet. They said they would look into it.
Cool.
Let's see.
Need to see if they're going there now.
Are you? Did you feel any of the effects from Hurricane Beryl? I know it went towards Arkansas a little bit. Don't know if it you felt anything from it.
If any, just a little normal rain.
Just some rain. Yeah. I fared surprisingly well, which is weird because this house in this neighborhood, since we've lived here, has had a track record of just losing power anytime the ground is wet. And we went through the entire thing without losing power, which I thought was wild. I have a screenshot on my phone of like the pin on the map of my house directly in the center of the eye of the hurricane. So like we literally,
that's why you did fine.
yeah, we literally, but well, no, I mean, that means we took it to like straight on, like it went straight through us, and I didn't lose power the entire time. I lost internet for like, actually, no, I didn't lose internet at all either. Like it was the craziest thing. And there are people that still don't have power.
Yeah, which I never understand how. I mean, I get it. Obviously, like if poles get knocked down, transformers get broken, nodes in the neighborhood get taken out, but it's still kind of shocking to me sometimes how it can be like a week. It's like,
Well,
they're supposed to be prepared for this. And
Yeah.
have parts in a warehouse, like waiting for this.
Yeah,
It's like,
the thing is, it's like it's far too often that there's just news stories coming out of Texas with millions of people without power. Like it happens way too often. It's like, this is Houston. Like, what are we doing? We're supposed to be the energy capital. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, at the same time, it's Houston. It's massive.
Yeah.
How much, how much are you going to keep? How many spare parts are you going to keep on hand before you're covered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I mean,
But-
it's fucking wild sometimes, man. But
Yeah.
anyway, on to our episode for the week. Like I said before, we're doing a State of Gaming update. For those of you who didn't see our last one, I think we've done one before. But it's basically just an hour and a half of us talking about recent releases, recent announcements, and upcoming games that we may be excited about. Just kind of touching on the games and gaming industry. Every now and then, just to check in, see where things are at, see where things are going, and have a little fun and talk about it. So, with that being said, are there any new updates, games, announcements, anything like that on the horizon that you may have heard or are excited about?
I mean, sadly, the only ones I'm watching is the same one we've been talking about for a year now, is the Star Wars Eclipse, Star Wars Outlaws, and Dune Awakening.
Yeah, Dune Awakening. I saw they released some like actual gameplay footage. No.
Didn't see it. I still see trailers, like live action cinematics, but
I could have
Maybe
swore I
some
saw that they
website.
posted like some kind of gameplay footage. I can't remember.
I guess I missed it. Oh, I don't know. It was a dev blog. Maybe it was in the dev blog. I just keep looking for a release date. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool when we get a release date. I'm excited to try out this. I like their concept, right? It's just an MMO and Dune. Let's fucking go.
But unfortunately, it's still, they're theorizing still sometime in 2024, but that almost just seems far-fetched to not have a release date by now, or at least a hopeful, by the end of the year, first quarter, second quarter, something.
Do you know if they mean like, end of 2024 for it to actually release, or they're going to announce a release date by the end of 2024?
Well, this is just like fan theory crafting, based on the tidbits they've gotten from what they've, all the people that, listen to every dev blog and stuff. Like,
Right.
It's just their theories that they're still estimating end of 2024. But I'm like, because the developers haven't put out something of their own by now, it's probably not going to be 2024.
Yeah, that's very true. But hey, One can dream, right?
Sadly for Eclipse, though, I swear I read something that said we'd be lucky if it came out in 2025.
Yeah, because I heard that the studio that makes like the Star Wars games, they got rid of a bunch of people, and they canned a bunch of projects, including a shooter that a lot of people were actually excited for. They just canned the whole project. They're not continuing with it anymore. So I'm wondering if maybe Eclipse got caught up in that.
I mean, not from what I can tell, but yeah, this is it's rough development cycle. But it's like, man, I always question games that started off the development in 2021. I'm like, man, you're 3 years in, and you're still estimating 1 to 2 more years. It's like when you have that long of a gap, there's that much of a technology advancement during that period that you would almost have to redevelop your game.
Yeah. That definitely, I definitely see how that would make things interesting, and especially if, I mean, that's something that I never really thought about when it comes to game development. Like, I'm sure it's really difficult to manage all the because I mean the gaming industry is advancing so quickly. Like, new stuff and new technology to make your games better come out is bound to come out while you're making a game. So how do you decide okay, we need to switch over to this new method, or we can just stick with the old one and try and implement this somewhere else? Or how do they work around that? It's something I never really thought about.
The one that made it the perfect example, and also mostly just perfect example. So I've been playing 7 Days to Die since it I don't know, one of the initial releases, which I wish I had more of a timeline memory. When did 7 Days come out?
I feel like I was there at the very beginning too, but I could be wrong.
Is it on their store page? 2013. So yeah, I mean, it's been 11 years. December will be 11 years. So this game's been in development, quote unquote, for 11 years. And here at the end of July, or at some point in time in July, they're officially releasing the game. Version 1.0.
That's just crazy. Yeah.
11 years later. And granted, I've seen them make tons of advancements.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember
it went from practically Minecraft to pretty good looking.
Yeah. I remember what it used to look like.
Let's see, when was Once Human started? Because this is the one that is the greatest example to it. So, man, I was hoping to see when it was actually started, but all it shows is the release date, when you could actually start playing it.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to track down when a game started development. I wanted to bring up Power World as an example too, because they just released version 1.0. I've got that on my list of things to talk about a little bit later. We'll talk about the new updates to Power World.
I mean, we'll say, you knew about Once Human back in September, and that's where you're signing up for betas.
Yeah.
So I mean, it can't be that long when you went from signing up for betas to being out.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like it was that long. But
yeah, and it's it's crazy because it's so well thought out and well built and well put together. It's a really nice breath of fresh air to have a game that felt complete at launch.
Oh, here we go.
And the fact that it's free.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting at. So May 2023, man. 1 year after they said, hey, we got a great idea.
Yeah.
A year later, it went live. Not even, early access, or at least I'm pretty sure it's not early. Before I talk out of my ass, I guess I better go make sure. Once human, yeah, not early access. 1.0 version of the game a year later. So they said, hey, we got a game. A year later, they're like, here's your game. And not only did it only take them a year instead of 11 years, it launched free, and it launched better looking than 7 days. And it's essentially, without the, fully demolishable world, it's essentially the same damn game.
Yeah, it's.
I can build.
I like to describe it as like a combination of Ark, 7 Days to Die, and Fallout 76. It like they took the best of like all of those three like banger games and just combined them into this beautiful concept. And I gotta shout them out. They posted yesterday on their Twitter that their Discord alone has surpassed 500,000 members on just their Discord. That's incredible success. And to touch on something a little bit more, I saw that their Steam reviews were mixed, and I want to talk about that for a second because I know why. People read the terms of service for Once Human. And they saw a clause in there that says that they have the right to retain your government ID. Now, what people took that and they thought that, oh, they're going to try and steal my, private information. But the reality is that's not the case at all. That's in the terms of service of every live service game on the planet, including World of Warcraft. The reason why they put that in there is because there are countries like China and Korea that see online gaming as a problem. And so they treat it like alcohol and cigarettes, where the government limits your online game time. So after a certain number of hours, you no longer get experience, you no longer get the currency. They have to have your ID in order to enforce those laws. If you don't live in a country where that's not a law, they don't need your ID.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I didn't get my ID. Granted, I linked like social media and things like that.
And people saw that. They're like, oh, well, they're going to try and get into our social media and they're going to try and look at our stuff on social media. And it's like, only if you let them. Like, they're saying that if you link it, then yeah, they're going to look at it. Like, if you don't want them to look at it, then don't link it. Simple as that. But I wanted to touch on that because if any of you are on the fence about trying it and are going off of, and like to look at Steam reviews, just be mindful that it's very misinformed at the moment. I highly recommend it. I think it's a wonderful game. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really cool. And it's free.
Out of the 31,000, 15,000 are mostly positive.
Yeah. So it's about 50-50.
What was it? On July 9th, which was like the day it came out, they had a peak concurrent player base of 231,000 players.
That's insane success.
For a free game.
I mean, when you put out a game that fucking good for free, like, holy shit.
Yeah. And, for somebody like me that doesn't like doing microtransactions, like, I've been playing Call of Duty, for example, for 5 years straight, basically. I played it off and on my entire life, but I've been playing it consistently the last, 4 years, 5 years.
Right.
With the other brother of ours, Gert, in the chat there.
Mm-hmm.
And I will almost never buy a skin pack. I buy the Battle Pass. I buy Battle Pass for a lot of games because I feel like that's the only thing in a lot of these games that's actually worth it. Where you get, as long as you max it out, you get, in my opinion, your money's worth.
Right.
You get a lot of in-game currency, you get a lot of rewards and skins and weapons that you can only get through the battle pass, things like that. I've done the battle pass on Dead by Daylight, several other games. I
Once
can't think
Human.
of the list because I suck. But I'm getting to that one. But I'm saying, like, in the 5 years I've been playing Call of Duty, I have bought each expansion, and I've bought the battle pass every time, and I've only ever bought one skin pack, and that was Judge Dredd. And that's because that's the only one that touched the '90s kid in me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I could run around and say I am the law as I kill people. Yeah, of course I'm gonna get that one.
Yeah.
But every other skin pack, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but I'm not paying $5, $10, $20 or more sometimes. But you see, everybody else, man, they buy a new skin pack every month. Gert buys a lot of skin packs, not nowhere near as much as other people, but that's the only game he plays too. So
Yeah.
he buys skin packs, but that's the only game he plays. Me, I play a lot of games, so for me to spend money on you, it's pretty hard. I'm a cheap ass when it comes to games. I'll wait purposely months after it comes out for the sale to happen before I dive into a game sometimes.
Yeah. I do have to say, the fact that it's free to play, and the fact that it has microtransactions, I'm talking about Once Human, and that it has microtransactions, and that it's also PvP is a little bit of a problem to me. I don't know if I will ever join a PvP server in Once Human, simply because there is absolutely a pay to win factor in the game. If you have money, you can get the best blueprints faster than anyone else. Because you can just buy the Starcron and you could just roll for all of the blueprints. I'm fairly certain you can.
Buy it. No, as I've tried.
Really?
You can't.
So what, is it
So
just
far,
cosmetics then?
Yeah, so far the only thing to buy is cosmetics.
Oh, well, in that case, that's fucking awesome. I'd be more inclined to buy, for a free-to-play game, to buy the cosmetics than I would be, if I paid, $20.
Well, that was the point in my story I was getting at, is that because it's free and this good, it makes me more willing to spend money on this game.
Yeah.
Versus, I would probably spend more money on this game now than I would have if I bought the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because they put that much effort into it, and it's that good of a game, and they were confident enough to release it for free, then I'm like, you know what? I got your back. I appreciate that as a gamer.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm going to help you keep this good game running because you were nice enough to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at 7 Days, like I said, they're launching in the same month. They're launching version 1.0 and increasing the price of their game.
Yeah, and it's not as good, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I'm
it has a lot of its things that I still love 7 Days.
Yeah,
but
of course.
The fact that you're releasing your version 1.0 of the game 11 years later, and you're raising your price to $50, I think it was, and then Once Human, that just came out after a year of announcement, is a better game than yours in free in the same month.
Yeah.
Man.
What are we doing? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's you look at what's the concurrent players of 7 Days right now. I mean, granted, Once Human's new, I get it.
Yeah.
We'll see where it lands in a couple months. But
Goat asked me the week before Once Human released. She's like, "Hey man, how do you feel about firing up the 7 Days server?" And I was like, "I mean, yeah, that's cool and all, but Once Human's about to come out." He was like, "Yeah, but 7 Days." I'm like, "But what? People are going to play the server for a week and then move over to Once Human?"
No, because not everybody wants to play Once Human. I just said that because we have the server up there doing nothing.
Yeah.
And the new 7 Days is coming out, and that's what we started on, the 7 Days. So.
Yeah, I definitely am down for it. I think it'd be smart to wait for the Once Human hype to die down a little bit.
Yeah. So currently, right now, the 24-hour, all-time peak in the last 3 months for 7 Days was 105,000 players.
That's respectable.
Yeah. Currently, 45,000. Let's see what Once Human is right now, though. Steam. Currently, 144,000 players playing right now.
Man. That's big.
It's 7 days right now. I'm looking at the same Steam chart. Yeah, 36,000 people playing right now in 7 days. For a game that's about to double its price. So
Yeah, that
I'd love to
doesn't
do this
make any sense.
comparison in like October. like once 7 days 1.0 has been out for a couple months, and once One Human has been out for a couple months, I'd love to come back and like see where they're both standing.
Yeah. I agree.
As two games that are fairly comparable, but definitely have the differences. You know, like Once Human PvP is kind of reminds me of like open world Warcraft PvP, where you flag yourself for PvP. On a PvP server in Once Human, you have to go and either manually turn yourself into PvP mode, and then you can attack anybody, and anybody can attack you, whether they're in PvP mode or not. And you can raid people's bases, whether they're in PvP mode or not. You also have passive things to do. I guess it's kind of like I want to say it's like a threat meter is what I assumed. I haven't been able to test it, but it reads kind of like a heat index, kind of, or like, reminds me of like Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
What's that called when you're the police come after you?
Yeah,
more
like
and more?
stars, like 5 stars, or 2 stars, 3 stars.
Yeah. And so I think that's what that one's based off, is something like that. The more aggressive you are, it'll just automatically flag you.
Oh yeah. They do that. They do that in Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. They'll do that in Red Dead Redemption, where if you're just like going around killing a bunch of people, that'll like show you on the map with like a little red thing. It's like, hey, this guy's, a problem.
So that's what they're doing on the PvP servers. So if you get flagged or you manually flag yourself, then you can go and raid anybody. On the PvE server, you can flag yourself as well, but you can only raid or fight other people that are flagged. So technically, there's PvP on the PvE server. It's just only if you want it.
That's pretty cool. I like that idea.
So,
I like that freedom of choice.
And there's PvP events as well. So there's like a cargo truck escort that I went and played a part in. And you fight other players within a little bubble to win the truck at the end, basically. And just as soon as you enter that bubble, it's PvP. You leave that bubble, it's not.
That's pretty cool.
So,
I wish we could do stuff like that on a 7-day server.
yeah. Well, you can if you're fucking a genius at modding. Like, I've played on servers that have PvP zones, or they split the map in half, or
That just
things like that.
You know what would be cool if you could create an item like a drink that you drink it and it makes you it turns on it flags you, and when you die, it turns that buff off. You're not PvP anymore. So you can run back, you can get your stuff and not have to worry about somebody camping you. That way you can PvP only when you wanted to.
Speaking of which, you wanted me to talk about I did briefly play the experimental 4 1.0 coming out.
Yeah.
And there's a new feature, and like in typical 7 days fashion, a new bug that goes right along with that feature.
Of course.
So, in our days of running 7 days to die servers on PvP servers, there was always rules that we had that was just basically don't be a dick.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to base raiding, it was, don't level somebody's base to the ground. Get in there, steal their shit, get the fuck out, give them something to come back to and rebuild.
Yeah.
And then simultaneously in 7 days, whenever you die, you have the option of either respawning randomly in the world, near your sleeping bag, or on your sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And so one of the don't be a dick rules was don't just stand there on somebody's sleeping bag waiting for them to res and then shoot them in the head.
Yeah.
And then wait for them to res and shoot them in the head. And then do that 17 times so they say, fuck this game and quit playing on the server. Because main goal in these games, because they're player-ran servers, is you want to keep people coming back. Otherwise, there's nobody to play with.
Yeah.
Unlike Once Human being more, MMO-ish, there's, thousands of players on these servers. I'm not worried about pissing off somebody.
Yeah.
So what they did was they came up with a third option that is just respawn near where you died. So instead of having to keep remembering to put down a new sleeping bag every time you go to another town, because you only have one respawn point in the entire map, you can now keep your sleeping bag at your base, and if you die somewhere, you just respawn near where you died.
So people are putting a sleeping bag in their actual base and then building like a fake base to get raided.
No. Well, I mean, we could do that, yeah, but I mean, that doesn't really matter. You can add multiple bases. It doesn't matter where your sleeping bag is. The benefit is like before, you forgot to put down a sleeping bag. And you're like, great, now I got to run 2 miles back to my bag on the ground.
Right.
Now I can just spawn within a couple 100 feet and go back and get it. The bug right now, though, is that you choose spawn near bag and it'll spawn you in the exact same spot every time. So people can still camp your body as if you have a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Because until you get your backpack, it'll keep spawning you in the same spot. Like, so people are being dicks, and like, oh, he's respawning right there. Kill him, and let's stand there until he keeps trying to respawn near bag.
Yeah. It almost
Just kill him.
that kind of seems like an easy fix though. Like I feel like you could just grant the player a buff upon spawn that like either like makes them invincible and turns them invisible for a X amount of time so that they can, like how a WoW happens, like you spawn, your little spirit can run up to your bag, kind of check things out, and then spawn when you want to. But in this case, it'll be in the reverse. It's like the moment you spawn in, the timer starts. You've got 10 seconds to go grab your shit and get out. I
mean, there's a lot of factors that could make this easy. One, just give me multiple respawns around my backpack. I mean, that's got to be like an easy mathematical equation.
What Rust does,
30 degrees or 30 feet northeast, 30 feet northwest, 30 feet southwest, like something.
What Rust does that I find pretty interesting is you can put down multiple bags and you can choose which one to spawn at.
Yeah, I mean, that's another solution that I wish 7 Days would have done all along. Just let me have multiple spawn points.
Yeah.
Same thing in Ark. I
Yeah,
can
Ark,
build a bed anywhere I need,
Yeah.
Alternatively, if you really wanted to get fancy with it, you could do it kind of like a Call of Duty match, like a team deathmatch. If you die, it'll spawn you in a safe spot, quote unquote, not near enemies.
Right.
So you would think that would be an easy option to program that in there. Don't spawn me within 10 feet of a zombie or another player.
Yeah.
Shit. But, again, 7 Days, 11 years in development, still just have rudimentary fucking coding, it seems.
Yeah. I mean, it could also be that, it could be the problem where, when they started development, the tech isn't where it is now. And now they're just trying to make it work with what they've got. And because, trying to upgrade it to make it, more modern and work better is basically like rebuilding the game from scratch almost at this point. Their engine might be so fucking old and outdated.
Which they have gone through engine updates, which is why kind of, that's why they're the perfect example of this, because they went from was it like Unreal 3 to Unreal 4 or something or whatever it is.
Okay, so they aren't using a custom engine.
I'm pretty sure they're using Unreal. Maybe they might have changed that.
But yeah, updates to 7 Days. I figured we could talk about Pal World for a second. Pal World just released a new update, which is actually kind of cool. I think it was their full release. Oh, there's
no, they use Unity. That's what
Unity. Okay, yeah, okay.
I thought they were going to Unreal, but I don't know. Apparently not.
Yeah, Power World just released a new update. Well, they just actually did a full release, 1.0.
Ugh, that game's brought back like worse than 7 Days Nightmares. I tried to briefly run a server for the family and Mudslide and Nitro, and I had similar concept, similar coding. You set up like a automatic reboot time, and you save a backup of the game X amount of every 15 minutes or whatever. It was a really similar server manager tool.
Oh, was
But
it?
huh?
Was it a similar server management?
Yeah. Somebody developed a server manager tool that's just like ones I've used on 7 Days, where you can just fill in all the blanks basically, and it'll do it for you. But it ran into issues where just like all of a sudden it would like stop saving, even though it says it's saved, and then you go to roll back to like the last known previous save, and it just wouldn't roll back.
Interesting.
It's the exact same concept where you just copy and paste a file, just like having multiple copies of a Word doc. You just like, oh, this one's fucked up. Let me go back 2 editions ago and open that one. Boom, we're right where we left off. And it just wouldn't work. And like, they had all kinds of like weird announcements where they're like, oh yeah, the last patch fucked shit up, but because it almost read, if you read between the lines, in my opinion, it was like, well, because it's only affecting 40% of people, that's not the majority. So we're not really worried about it. Just deal with it and start over. And you're like, what? Like, no, that's terrible. I just put a week into this game.
Yeah.
Like 30 hours of time. And you're just like, sorry, start over. Beta, quote unquote.
Yeah. What a bummer. So I was wrong. It was not a full release. It was just a major update. They released a new area.
Well, they're not on version 1.
Yeah, they're on version 0.3.1.
Are they on early access or something? What are they
Yeah, it's early access, it looks like. But they added a new island, a whole new island. They added a arena, so now you can battle against other players using your pals, which is really cool, and I think people have been waiting for a while.
It shit still cracks me up. They're like adding in more Pokemon features.
Yeah. They added in like a stronghold, so like a PvE, like dungeon crawl, an oil rig. They raised the player level cap. They added a new resource. They added a new raid boss. They added a bunch of new items, a bunch of new weapons. They added a new like skill of lock picking. They added a bunch of new pals and skills for those pals. Bunch of bug fixes, new soundtrack songs, just really, really big update. And I might have to jump in and check it out. Because that was one of the things that I was kind of disappointed with Power World, is it felt lacking in content. Do what?
Said I could always fire up the server.
Yeah, it felt lacking in content to me. So to see that they've added some new content, that I've added some more like PvP stuff to check out, I might have to jump back into it and give it a shot.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was saying I could fire up the server and you could do it that way. And
Yeah.
Mudslide Nitro, maybe the wife will come back and try it out.
There you go.
Good option.
Other news for some big recent updates. Hogwarts Legacy just either announced or just released a new update, a pretty big one. Their highlight, which I found to be weird, was the new like camera. They updated or they're updating like their camera mode.
Okay.
Which doesn't make any sense to me.
I guess for those that like looking around.
I guess so, yeah. They added some more like story stuff. They added a couple of new like side quests and things like that. And then on their Steam page, they pushed the new Quidditch game that they're releasing, which doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why they would release a whole new Quidditch game when they have the base of Hogwarts Legacy. They could have just added it to and added content to this great game that they produced.
Separate game.
Do what?
It's a separate game.
Yeah, they announced a separate like Quidditch game, and it's like, what?
You said they announced a new Quidditch game. I thought you meant within Hogwarts.
Yeah, no, like a whole new separate game, which I was taken aback by. I was like, why?
I mean, I assume that's just about the money. You know, you can put more money in microtransactions and shit like that into Quidditch because that's basically like Rocket League.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're right. That makes sense. I mean, I guess
it's Harry Potter Rocket League.
But that's Hogwarts. They're getting a pretty big update. So if you're into that, definitely keep your eyes on that. Dead by Daylight. I want to talk about them for a second. They've been having some banger collaborations recently. They did a collaboration with Wizards of the Coast where they introduced Vecna as one of the killers, voiced by Matthew Mercer, which is really fucking cool. They added a Tomb Raider collaboration, which is pretty cool. They have do what now?
When did that come out?
I think that's new, actually. I think it just came out, matter of fact. Yeah, it just released, the Tomb Raider chapter. It's crazy how like all the collabs that they've been getting. They got I mean, let's look at it. Alan Wake, Dungeons and Dragons, Tomb Raider, Chucky, Alien, Nicolas Cage, Resident Evil, The Ring, Hellraiser.
Well, Resident Evil specifically, it's Pyramid Head, but
there's multiple Resident Evils. There's Pyramid Head, and then there's the big like.
Or no, that's not Resident Evil.
Resident Evil is Silent Hill, or Pyramid Head is Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Silent Hill, Stranger Things, Ghostface, Evil Dead, Saw, Nightmare on Elm Street, Leatherface, like everything. They've covered all of the bases. It's so cool. It's so cool to think that when did Dead by Daylight come out? You should find that out. Let me see when did it come out? Let me see what the player base looks like on Dead by Daylight right now. Let's see. As of 20 minutes ago, 40,000 people. All-time peak is 105,000 people. That's pretty good.
And they came out in 2016. So.
2016, and they just continuously put out content for this game. Yeah. How old is that? It's 2016 to 8 years. 8 years, and the game is still relevant, like, and still bagging deals.
Like, yeah. And when you think about it, though, there's a lot that you can add in too. Like, I'm looking at this list here, and even newer ones. Well, like, what about Megan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my thing too is like, what other games are there like it? I can't really think of any that are any good.
Well, yeah. It was the Friday the 13th. Well, I mean, you think about it. I mean, technically, Evolve Stage 2.
Yeah, but it's dead, so it obviously wasn't good.
But it was good.
It was good. I enjoyed it. Speaking of which, we did find a way to continue playing that, which we need to get in on that. I've been wanting to try it. We just keep not making it. But we're getting close on time here, so I want to run through a couple more that I'm excited about that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Elden Ring. They recently released their DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree. And I've been watching some gameplay of it. I'm a little late to the party. I wanted to try and, keep myself from watching anything about it until I could play it for myself, but it's been too long now. I just need to give it up. And so I've been watching Jacksepticeye play it, and man, what a masterpiece of a DLC. I mean, they would have been well within their right to release it as a whole other game. Like, it's massive and it's fully detailed, like very few recycled assets. They pulled a lot of stuff from like older Dark Souls games, which, a lot of people thought was really cool. I kind of thought was pretty cool. Just, it was reminiscent of older Dark Souls in a way, which was kind of, but yeah, just really, really cool DLC for Elden Ring. I definitely will be checking it out. New releases coming up that I'm super excited about. It comes out on Friday. The College Football 25 comes out, finally releasing another NCAA game. I think the last year that there was an NCAA football game was 2015. 2014 was the last time an NCAA football game was released. So I'm super stoked for it to come out. I can't wait to play it. I'll be playing it on Xbox because it's not releasing on PC, which is really annoying. At least not right now.
Have they ever released those on PC?
Yeah, I can play Madden on PC. I can play NBA 2K on PC. I can play the UFC games on PC. I can play the soccer games on PC. I can play the baseball games on PC through cloud gaming, which is just a stream of the console version. So I guess you can't play the baseball game on PC. But yeah, so they probably will release it on PC, but it's not going to be on Friday when the game officially releases. So I'm going to buy it on Xbox. I might end up buying it twice. I don't know. We'll see.
So few facts that I pulled while you were talking about that. So the Tomb Raider thing actually just came out yesterday.
Yeah.
And Once Human was actually announced June 2022.
Okay.
At the ING in summer something.
Okay. Yeah. IG. That sounds.
Summer of Gaming.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I mean, but still 2 years. Even still, like, yeah, that's fantastic. I'm gonna go through a list of just recent games that I've seen come out that have had some traction, and games that have had recent updates that I think are good. We're running out of time here, so I'm just gonna rapid fire through them. I've got Chained Together. 35 minutes? Do we have 35 minutes? No, we have 30 minutes. We end at 10.
Yeah, and it's 9:25.
Is it 9:25? Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, maybe I have more time than I thought.
Oh, yeah, you're rapid firing. I'm like, geez, how many do you have? Like 35 minutes.
Well, in that case, I want to talk about. I want to hear you talk about what's been going on with WoW recently.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I mean,
didn't they just release like an entirely new mode? Like a month ago or a month or two ago?
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the new expansion. I don't know about it other than a few. I mean, I can only talk about the one thing I care about, I guess. One thing I'm excited about with the new expansion, and then we'll come back to the other versions of WoW, which is a whole nother anomaly of Warcraft as a whole. But the wife and Mudslide, they could tell you all about the new expansion. I can only tell you about the one thing that I overheard from them that I cared about, that you haven't really dove into, but I've dove into a few times. So there's mythic dungeons. So basically, in Warcraft, you do a 5-man dungeon. You go and kill a bunch of mobs, and there's a boss at the end, or multiple bosses you have to get through. And they have multiple difficulties. So it starts off as a normal dungeon. So once you hit maximum level in that game, you go do that dungeon, kill the bosses, and get some loot. And then they have a heroic version of that dungeon. It's a little bit harder. And then they have the mythic version of that dungeon, which is like in a sense 3 times harder than normal. And then a couple of years back, they decided they want something more challenging for the players, so they added a level system to the mythic version of the dungeon, where it goes all the way up to 30 times difficult. So mythic level 1 through 30. And not only does it just progressively get harder and harder, the bosses have more health, they do more damage. Well, every X amount of difficulty levels, so we'll say like 5, 10, and 15, something else starts happening in the dungeon. Either every time a monk guy dies, he explodes, or if anybody's below 90% health, they start taking 10% damage every second until you get them back to 90% health.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of like crazy things. Not crazy, but things to make it more challenging. So as if, just hitting harder and having more health wasn't hard enough, let's add in another twist.
Yeah, let's put it in New Game Plus mode.
Yeah, and then so once you got to 15 difficulty higher, there was also 3 additional things going on at the same time, and then that would continue all the way up to 30. 15 through 30 though was just more health, more damage, and those same 3 things happening. And you have to complete the dungeon within a certain time period in order to get loot at the end, or to get the most loot.
Yeah,
at the
and
end.
you have to kill a certain amount of enemies within that dungeon within that time frame.
Well, yeah, but 90% of the time that happens naturally. But the problem was some of those things that happened, those 3 additional things, some of them were just so challenging that depending on which dungeon you were going into, you're just like, well, while that special thing is happening, we can't do that dungeon.
Yeah.
It literally makes it too hard. Well, at least not worth the effort, basically.
Yeah.
Because these 3 things would change out every week. So next week it would be 3 different things. So you'd constantly find yourself in this point where you're like, well, we can't do these dungeons this week because these are the 3 special abilities going on. And then you also run into the point, because it's a timed thing, if somebody gets mad and leaves, well, then your whole group's just over.
Yeah.
Everybody just leaves and you have to start over because you're not going to make the timer anymore. So they've made a lot of changes to Mythics where now they heard everybody's complaints basically and said, all right, we're going to stop putting out dumb ultimate mechanics. They're all going to be pretty basic.
Yeah.
It'll still add a challenge, but we're not going to make it stupid anymore.
Well, that's cool.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, and they're trying to gear more towards the original intention of a dungeon or a raid in any MMO is to have a tank that makes the enemies hit him. And so his job is to take all the damage. So take all the hits from the enemy. And you have 3 people, in this case of a 5-man dungeon, 3 people that deal damage to the enemy. And then you have 1 person that keeps the party alive. They just heal them. And with these new mythics, they geared more towards, they want everybody to do damage. They want the tank to do damage and take all the damage. They want the healer to do damage and heal everybody.
Yeah.
And it just made it as a healer, as a tank, where you feel like, God damn, I just want to tank, or I just want to heal. I don't want to do damage and tank, or do damage and heal.
That's the reason why I'm not playing a DPS.
Yeah. And so they're supposedly trying to tune it more like that now, where they're trying to make the tank has to tank, the healer has to heal, and the DPS have to DPS. And so if that plays true, I think I'm going to have a lot more fun in the game.
Yeah.
I like dungeon grinding. I like leveling alts. But with how they were changing the game, it made me just not want to play anything besides my 1 character.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would enjoy healing a lot more if that were the case. If that's, just heal. Just keep us alive. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Don't stand and shit and keep us alive. Great. I can do that.
You can make that hard as fuck too. You make those things do so much damage I can barely keep up.
Yeah.
But let me just heal.
I hope that means a lot more like tank focused rotations, right? Like the bosses, like, you know, on instances where there's multiple tanks, like you're gonna have to fucking tank swap a lot more now. You're gonna have to really pay attention to your cooldowns. Like maybe threat generation isn't as easy anymore. Like the tank, you might actually have to work a little bit harder to keep threat. Like,
yeah, this is like, that's what I miss about the game. I miss it just being tank, healer, DPS.
yeah,
Like, there's a reason there's 3 core classes to their core roles in these games, and I feel like they just got too far away from that. And supposedly, with getting some of the original game developers back in, or writers, or whatever they are, they're supposed to be gearing back towards that.
yeah. And that was one of the common consensuses I heard about this new expansion is they're trying to kind of go back to the old WoW. And that was the reason why I stopped playing retail. It just got too fucking complicated. Like, to be on a raid team, like, it was almost a requirement to make WoW a full-time job. And it's like, I love playing WoW, but I don't want to spend 40 hours a week to fucking raid once for fucking an hour and a half, 2 hours, you know? Like, and it's to the point, it got to the point where it's like, what I like to do, I like raiding. I enjoy being a part of an organized raid team. But in order to do that, you have to put in 40 hours, and I don't want to put in 40 hours, so I just don't get to raid. You know?
Well, it was kind of a mixture, so you didn't have to do that. So,
But to
for
be,
those that don't know,
you know,
raiding, you have the teams that just go in and do what they can, and it's not a big deal. They don't care how far they get, how fast they get there. It's just there to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's called progression raiding, which we want to continuously kill these bosses faster and more efficiently every single week that we come here, and to progressively get to the higher difficulties. Because again, with the raids, there's normal, heroic, and mythic, but there's just one level of mythic. And the goal of a progression raid team is to do normal so fast that you're breezing through it, and then you get through heroic and you breeze through that one so fast that you eventually get to mythic. And the only way you can supplement doing those as fast as possible is by also doing the high level mythic dungeons like 8 times a week.
Yeah.
So your choice was either be really casual and play with some team that doesn't give a fuck, or what Dragon was saying, and play 40 hours a week and be with a team that actually, you know, wants a challenge. And it's like, I want a challenge, but I don't want to play 40 hours a week.
Yeah, it's like if I could have an entire guild of like personal friends where we just get together every week and do the raids. You know, we don't shit on each other because DPS. Like, if we could do the raids and we're making progression and there's no problems, like major problems, then okay, great. We'll see you next week. You know, have fun.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not like that. Like, if you don't want to be on a progression raid team, like, you have to fucking grind or you're just not gonna make it. And that sucks.
Well, and the other side problem is that even if you are on the casual team, there's still going to be people on the casual team that are progressing as fast as the progression raid team players.
Yeah.
So you're going to end up like almost feeling guilt tripped into playing more, because every week that guy's getting better and better and better, and you're just kind of, you know, you're increasing by 10% every week. He's increasing by 30% every week.
Yeah.
Well, then at the end of the month, he's doing double what you are. And it's like, well, fuck, man.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why I say it would be fun to do it with like just a group of friends, because at that point, like, there's no judgments. It's like, okay, I mean, yeah, you're going to do more damage. Like, that's very clear. You play way more than I do. There's no need to mention that. Like, you don't need to make me feel bad about it, because it's understood. Like, you play more. And that's not a problem. But you know, on a group of a bunch of people you don't really know all that well, you know, people are gonna be like, oh well, this motherfucker's lazy and doesn't want to fucking pull his weight. And it's like, no, it's not that. It's just I don't want to fucking spend my entire life playing this game.
Well, because I've been on teams like that too, where I guess it feels like you end up being so casual that you're not really progressing,
Yeah.
or you get the teams I was on, it was kind of like in the middle where like they gave you requirements like, well, we only require you to do 1 mythic a week, but then you get kind of guilt tripped. Like, well, I know we say 1 time a week, but you're kind of falling behind. And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's the standard.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm meeting the standard.
we require you to do 1 a week, but we've got 4 of them running at, 3 times a week. Yeah, so how come you're only in 1 of them all the time? Like, God damn it, motherfuckers. Like,
it's like those jobs, where they're like, all right, here's our minimum standards.
Yeah, and when you perform to minimum standards, they call it quiet quitting. It's like, no, I'm doing the job you.
On Office Space, the pieces of flair. No, was it Office Space? No, what's it called? Or was it Office Space?
I don't know. I've never actually watched Office Space, like,
what,
all the way through.
Oh my god. Well, it was at like a TGF Fridays or something. And, like, they have all these little pins on their shirt and their hat and their suspenders and shit, and they're called pieces of flair. And the minimum requirement as a server was you had to have 15 pieces of flair on your uniform. But then the like happy-go-lucky server over there had like 50. And so the manager said, they're like, yeah, I mean, I know the standard's 15, but you see how he has 50? Don't you want to be more like him?
Yeah.
And then the waitress is like, yeah, but it's 15 and I have 50. Do you want me to make more? No, I'm not saying you need to have more.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it'd be great if you did.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I don't need to?
Yeah.
That's how it ends up being on the raid team. We're like, we're not saying you have to raid more.
But you
But it'd
really
be nice if you
should.
did.
Yeah, it'd be really cool if you did. Yeah, but it's like, no, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
enjoying
so
my
you
game.
either-
Let me play my fucking game.
Yeah. So that's always, there's like 3 standards basically that I've seen where you're either on a team that just is almost too happy-go-lucky and they really don't care if they get all the bosses down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I still care. I still want to actually do what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Or you get, judged by you're not doing enough, or you're on the team where you need 40 hours a week. So,
Yeah.
fuck, man.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that that's going to be less like that. But
Yeah.
only time will tell.
It's been interesting because with this new job that I have, like, it's a completely different environment from what I'm used to. It's a corporate office job, and I've found a really great balance between like setting my work-life balance boundaries, but also showing that I'm willing to go above and beyond, and not just do what I was hired to do and clock out. It's like at 5 o'clock, I'm fucking clocking out. I'm sorry. Like, if there's a ticket that needs to be done, it can wait until tomorrow. That's what I'm clocking out at 5. I'm not going to let you interrupt. If you don't want to pay me overtime, then I'm clocking out at 5. Period. Whether there's an active ticket or not, I don't care. But while I'm on the clock, you're going to get my best work.
But I guess it depends. So is your team or whatever, are they not 24/7?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was like, it's a little different on my team. Like, I can leave and there'll be tickets there, but there's other people that are going to continue to work until the next day. So, but my company also paid me overtime. So
Yeah.
I can almost work as long as there's work to do.
Yeah.
But
I wish this company paid overtime, because I certainly would. I definitely have plenty of work that I could do, and I would certainly love to do it without getting fucking dinged by our help desk every 5 minutes while I'm trying to work on something that requires a lot of brain power. It's like, it's not that the task is particularly difficult. It's just every 5 minutes I'm getting ding right in my fucking ear, and it throws me off every time.
well, I'm not saying I can work all I want, but I can, if I'm already on a call or something and the end of my shift comes, I can continue it till it's ended and nobody's
Yeah.
going to message me.
Yeah.
Same thing if I happen to notice that there's like an abundance of tickets sitting there, and I want to grab one extra one before I leave, nobody's
Yeah.
gonna say shit.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I mean, thankfully,
Yeah.
thankfully, I don't get a huge, massive number of tickets. I think my peak was like 100 tickets in 1 week, like, which my team was like super impressed. Like, oh my gosh, you're knocking out tickets so fast. You're doing so many tickets. It's like, I hate to break it to you, but I'm used to doing like 100 tickets a day. So 100
Well-
tickets a week is not really much of anything for me. Let's be honest.
It really depends on what the ticket involves, you know.
It was, I guarantee you, like, the handling time of the tickets at this job is nothing different than my last one.
Well, I'm saying, like, there's weeks I might push 100, but then there's other weeks I might push 30.
Well, okay,
But it's
I'll add more perspective.
because mine, well, I'm saying because mine, I might spend an hour troubleshooting,
Yeah.
or I might spend 5 minutes.
Well, I'll add
So-
some perspective. I was used to doing 100 tickets a day while also taking phone calls all day. So,
Well, I mean, the perspective in there is how much work is involved on each ticket is what I was getting at.
yeah.
If I get nothing but 5-minute calls, then yeah, I can knock out 100 tickets a day too.
Yeah.
But the problem is I get like 3 1-hour calls, 6 20-minute calls, and
Yeah. I would
5
say
5-minute calls.
I would say the average handle time for my tickets at, you know, both my last job and this one is on average, I would say it's probably lower, but I'd say about 30 to 45 minutes on average. So it's like, you know, I and that's why, like, getting dinged by the help desk every 5 minutes is so, like, you know, it's so distracting, because I know that this ticket that I'm going to get, I'm going to be able to do it in just a couple of minutes. So, like, I should just stop, do the ticket, and then just hopefully I can keep working and get some more time to work on this other task. But it just never works that way. It's just consistent. Every time I get into a zone, it's just ding. It's like, fuck. But anyway, back to the topic. We got derailed there big time.
Yeah. So back to the other Warcrafts.
Yeah.
The only thing I really put into that is like Warcraft has, you know, little pre-context for the viewers here. You know, Warcraft has been out since 2004. World of Warcraft, sorry. World of Warcraft has been out since 2004. Terrible timeline, but X amount of years ago, they re-released the game. So every like 2 years, they come out with a new expansion with new lands, new dungeons, sometimes new characters to play, classes to play, things like that. Well, after like 15 years of being out, they re-released themselves and released the original version of the game all over again for those that never got to experience it originally.
Yeah.
So they simultaneously have 2 of the same game running, just 15 years apart from each other.
Yeah.
So
Which is
they're currently,
incredible.
yeah, so they're currently on expansion 4. Just came out
For the
on
classic.
the re-release of the game.
Yeah.
So they're on the 4th expansion of a game that's on its like 20th expansion. So they have 2 versions of the game running simultaneously, both extremely popular, millions or hundreds of thousands of players on each one. And then they also came out with almost like a re-release of the game. Where-
Season of Discovery.
Yeah, so they came with Season of Discovery, which is again going back to the original release of the game, but doing it a lot differently. So they're adding in these special abilities. It's more fast-paced. There's no auction house. There's no professions. There's just play your character, do the dungeons, and that's it. And normally they broke like the first expansion or version of the game into 3 segments. So they've been every like quarter, they release the next 20% of that expansion and the next 20% of that expansion. It's been a whole new experience of the exact same game.
Yeah. for
and
a
it's
third
fucking
time.
mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's the third time they released the game, but, the first time they re-released it is literally the same game. They're keeping it exactly to a T, exactly the same. Like, very, very little differences for quality of life, despite millions of people complaining that they wish they would release some of the quality of life things they have now
Into
into that
classic.
original version
Yeah.
of the game.
Yeah.
They just won't do it. The third release of the game, though, they are taking that account. They're like, you know what? This is the third release of the same game.
It's a
and we're gonna actually put
remaster.
in, yeah, we're gonna remaster. We're gonna actually put in all these quality of life things. We're gonna add in new stuff. Yes, yeah, it's the remastered,
Yeah.
rethought quality of
The
life.
Kings of recycling, Blizzard, man.
Yeah,
They're masters at recycling, and it works. I don't know how they managed to make it work, but people fucking play. It's the Todd Howard mentality. It's like, we'll stop. Like, people ask Todd Howard, when will you stop re-releasing Skyrim? And he said verbatim, I'll stop releasing it when you stop buying it.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so Warcraft literally has 3 versions of itself running simultaneously, each with a massive player base.
mhm.
And then on top of that, they're releasing temporary relaunches of the game
Of older
for
expansions.
for individual expansion. So they just recently, a couple months ago, came out with, they took the Pandera, whatever the fuck it was called, Mista Pandera
Yeah.
expansion, which was like their 5th, 6th expansion. I can't keep track.
Yeah.
And you could create a character on this version of the game, and you can only play in that land. You can't leave that land. You can only play on the Mista Pandera land, and it's super fast paced. And they gave you a cloak that every time you kill something, you have a chance of adding stats to that cloak infinitely. It's called the Cloak of Infinity, I think it's called. And so you can keep indefinitely getting stronger. So you can level your character to the maximum level, and they added in all these cool, crazy abilities.
Yeah, so
that
theoretically,
only
you could go
gonna
in and
exist
clear a
during-
mythical solo.
Yeah, so they made it so you can just become a god. You can become the boss that you're fighting in the normal version of the game.
Yeah.
And the purpose of this is just for you to go and collect things that you would have got during that expansion several years ago. So you can go and get all the mounts that you can ride on, all the clothes you can wear, and toys and things like that. All the cosmetics, for more normal gaming terms. You can go and collect all the every single cosmetic that existed during that expansion.
Does that
You
include
can get.
does that include like the PvP like transmog? Because some of the PvP transmogs are just so fucking cool, but they're a pain in the ass to get.
I don't know that there was very many during that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it has the PvP stuff too.
That's crazy.
But it literally has, it's supposed to have everything. I haven't seen anything that I can recall that it doesn't have.
And
There's even a few things that, like, one of them, there's this island you have to go and collect bones on. And you have to get like 10,000 bones to get like a pet and a mount. And it's like, but it's all elites that you need like 5 people to be able to kill an elite. Well, now you have a god tier toon or character, so you can just go and just rickroll that entire island by yourself
Yeah.
and get those 10,000 bones in a couple hours.
Yeah.
So it's like even things like that were hard as shit to do back during the actual Mista Bandera. Now you can do by yourself in a matter of a few hours.
Yeah.
And it's no
And
big deal.
all of this links to your retail account, so once you unlock it in there, you get it in retail.
Yeah, so technically the character is on your retail server. There's just a little time, same hourglass icon next to that character saying that it's a Mista Pandera character. And then once the War Within launches next month, those characters will transition into the War Within. So you'll have a level 70 character ready to play for the next expansion.
That's pretty cool. So if you wanted to like power level and alt before the
Yes.
expansion, you
Any
can.
character that you want, you can go from 1 to 70 in like 2 hours.
I might have to jump on that before the expansion comes out, just to level up like a couple of alts that I want to try.
Oh yeah, and I can carry the fuck out of you.
Yeah, I might. We'll have to get together and do that because yeah.
So to give everybody an example of how overpowered it is of those dungeons we were talking about before, you can only do heroic dungeons in this version of the game. Mythics didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
But it would still take you an average of like 20 minutes if you were really strong to clear an entire dungeon. Take about 20 minutes. I can clear the entire dungeon by myself in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, and to put into context, the dungeon is supposed to be done by 5 highly leveled players.
Yeah.
And you're doing it
do
by
it by
yourself in
all
3
three
minutes.
bosses in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's other people that do it faster.
Yeah. That's
Like, I'm not even by any means the strongest. Yeah, because I stopped playing like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, and you can keep getting, you can never stop getting stronger.
I wonder if there actually is a cap. I'm sure there is a hard cap
there
at
is not.
some point, dude. Like 9999999. Like, okay, you're at 1 million. Like, okay, we're capping you here. Like,
I mean, technically, there are stats that, the diminishing return starts hitting you harder and harder and harder.
yeah.
But, I mean, to put it into perspective that, you can understand, maybe not our viewers here. So I'm clearing that dungeon in 3 minutes or less, right? It sounds impressive. Instead of doing it in 20 as a group, I do it in 3 by myself.
Yeah.
But you put me in a raid, and you look at those same, like, damage meters, I'll be doing 10% of the damage
Yeah,
of
compared
some
to
of
some
the other
people.
players on the
Yeah.
team. like I'm doing a minuscule amount
Yeah.
of damage compared to the other people that have, like, dived their entire lives into this remix
Well,
version of
it makes me wonder if some people have found like the damage cap of the dungeon. It's like there are only so many enemies that can be dealt so much damage to within this dungeon, and you just reached that number. You dealt the max possible damage in this dungeon. Like, like at what point does that cap?
Well, like I said, I do it in 3 minutes. Other people they literally just one-shot everything. Like, you have like an arcane mage who literally just walk through there with arcane
Arcane
explosions.
blast, just bam.
Dead, 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 dead. Like, they're literally one-shotting bosses. It's
Yeah.
just dead, dead, dead. Our dungeon's over. Dead, dead. Like, you on a power level with like a mage that's overpowered? Like, man, you be doing dungeons, just as fast as you can queue for. Like, you wouldn't even be able to loot. You just go, go, go. Like, you just go for the XP at that point.
And that's kind of what I want to do at this point. It's like, shit, I'll just fucking build a character to get him to level 70 and move on to the next one. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about a couple of new releases that I looked at, things that are coming out soon, before we wrap it up, because we've got 5 more minutes here. Some ones that stuck out
Sure
to
it's not
me.
35?
Do what?
You sure it's not 35?
This time I'm sure. Couple things stuck out to me. God of War Ragnarok. It's been out for a while, but it's releasing on Steam on September 19th. So that's pretty cool. If you've never played God of War Ragnarok, you've been waiting for it to come out on Steam. September 19th, that's when you can pick it up. If you're a Disney fan, Disney is remastering the Epic Mickey game that released on the Wii. It was like a 3D platformer.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. They
Was it the Wii or Wii U?
It was I think it was the Wii. It could have been the Wii U, but it was called Epic Mickey, but they're releasing Epic Mickey Rebrush, which is just a remaster of it on September 24th on Steam. So if you were, a Disney fan and liked that game, that's coming out, so check it out.
Man, I'm old. It was the Wii, and it was 2010.
Yep.
Jeez. I think I actually had that game.
Diablo.
But I don't even have it. Well, I don't have a Wii anymore.
Diablo is releasing its DLC, Vessel of Hatred, on October 8th. So if you're a Diablo fan, keep your eyes out for that. That looks really, really cool. I jumped in to Diablo with this newest iteration for the first time. I'd never played Diablo before. And I gotta say, for a first-time Diablo player...
Wait. You've never played any version of Diablo?
Never. I'd never played Diablo before.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like, I never played the original, but I played Diablo 3?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because it came free with a Warcraft expansion. If you pre-purchased the Warcraft expansion, they gave you Diablo 3 for free.
Yeah. No, I'd never played a Diablo game. So, but for my first Diablo game, it was really, really cool. I still enjoy it a lot. It's great. And then for those of you who are into like, simulators and organizational games, like I played what was that game? It was like a manufacturing game on Steam. Satisfactory. Yes, thank you. I played Satisfactory. I thought there's another game that's on a 2D scale like that called Factorio. Yeah. So Factorio is releasing a DLC, a Space Age DLC, on October 21st. So if you're into Factorio, they're getting some new content. I figured I would include that because I've always seen and heard about Factorio, but I've never really noticed any new content for it. And so, that kind of stuck out to me. It's like, oh, they're releasing some new content. That's pretty cool. So I figured I'd put that in there as well. I definitely had a couple of games I wanted to get your opinion on, but we may have to save that for another episode.
It depends. List them off and I'll see if I have an opinion.
Body Cam.
Never heard of it. Or no, I have heard of it, but it looks kind of weird.
Okay.
I saw it on Steam.
It's Body Cam. It's basically an ultra realistic shooter. There's like no UI. It's supposed to be extremely realistic.
I saw it show up on the summer sale, and I just kind of skimmed past it.
Yeah. And the other one, which has been showing crazy numbers on Steam, The First Descendant. It's another. I believe it's a free-to-play game. It looks like.
Didn't you ask somebody about that?
Yeah, I asked in our Discord about it, and I didn't really get much of a response. It looks kind of like The Division and like Borderlands and Warframe mixed together. It's kind of like a looter shooter type of thing.
Yeah, it really does look like like if I would have just saw this video, I would have thought that it was Destiny or something.
Yeah. It looks it's like a looter shooter, kind of like Destiny, kind of like Warframe, kind of like The Division, kind of like Borderlands from what I've heard. I'm interested in trying it out.
Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
Oh, up to 4 players. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's a multiplayer game.
Well, yeah, I was just trying to. It says 4-player co-op, so that's what it's gonna.
Yeah, so like, have you ever played co-op on Borderlands, where it's like a mainly single-player game, but you can like join in on another person's party and like play through the game with them? Yeah, like Valheim kind of deal. Yeah.
Well, it's weird because I swore it said something about MMO, but now I don't see the word MMO. So yeah,
maybe
it's different.
But yeah. But anyway,
yeah, I didn't realize that was free though. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Another good example of like a game that looks fucking amazing and it's free.
Well, the reason why I think it's good is because I've seen a lot of my favorite streamers been playing it recently. I know King Gathalion has been a really, really big supporter of it. Others, I mean, if you know any, if you know him, you know him. If you don't, I don't want to take time to explain him. He's a really big Destiny streamer. He got really popular playing Destiny. But he's been playing it a bunch along with Once Human. I think he was like sponsored by Once Human at some point. But yeah, I definitely want to give it a shot. And with that being said, that's going to do it for our episode. That's going to do it for our State of Gaming update. If you have anything that you would like us to talk about that we missed, we would be more than happy to bring it up on our next update. We can't tell you when that's going to be. It's just, it's typically when I kind of see a wave in the industry, a bunch of things. I think it's, time for an update. We'll do an episode and we'll make sure to announce it ahead of time next time. Make sure you guys go, as we always say, check out our social medias, check out our YouTube. We are actually live on YouTube right now. We've been streaming to both platforms. So if you're seeing us on Twitch, make sure you go check us out on YouTube too. Check out our TikTok if you want to see the 3D printer in action. There's always some cool videos there to watch to kill some time. Check out our Facebook for updates on what we've got going on, where we're going, what we're doing, when we're live. And if you are an Amazon Prime member, please make sure that you use your Twitch Prime, whether you use it on us or use it on somebody else. That's $5 free to a streamer of your choice. It would be very gracious to use it on us. Goat, do you have anything before we leave? You look like you got something to say.
Yeah, I was just trying to jump in. So, as we said, that we haven't printed anything in the last week because we're kind of on the hold between like going to shows and stuff. But that doesn't mean that it's not open for customers. If you're a veteran who wants your 3D print, or if you want to help support us and buy a print, we can print almost anything. You just tell us what you want, and we'll work out with you on cost and size and whether we think it's capable of doing or not. There are some limitations, but not a lot. Just reach out to us and let us know.
Yeah. Oh, also PSA. For those of you who may not have noticed or may not have even seen, there has been a change to our free veteran print policy. Due to our new equipment, we're able to print bigger things a lot faster. So the time limit for the free print has decreased a little bit. And to be transparent with it, with our old printer, 10 hours was a very reasonable amount of time for a very reasonable sized item. But with this new equipment that we have and this new printer, 10 hours that's a lot of material. That's a lot of filament. That's a lot of cost to take up on our end, just because it's so much more efficient. So I hope that that's not construed.
Because we want to help as many veterans as we can.
Yeah, and I hope that's not construed as us trying to be cheap, but we want to just try and make sure that we can help and give away as much free 3D prints as we possibly can. And to reduce our costs a little bit with this new equipment, we had to reduce the time a little bit. But just keep in mind that the size and quality of your print is probably going to increase with this decrease in time. You can get better quality prints faster.
Technically, you're getting exactly the same thing we've always offered in a better quality.
Yeah, exactly. Just the amount of time allotted to print said item has changed.
Because the old printer, the same thing it would take to make in 10 hours, this one can make in 2, and it'll look better.
Yeah.
So we're still giving you the same thing. We're just giving it to you faster and better.
That's right. With that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and we will see you next week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Goat Stream. He'll likely be playing Once Human. Make sure you tune in on Monday or Tuesday for Scrivdoc Stream. I believe he plans on playing Mass Effect again. He's been switching it up a lot lately, which has been kind of cool. He's playing what he wants to. I can tell that he's enjoying what he's doing, so that's good. Definitely go check that out and support him. So everyone have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good night.